Are you stuck staring at your social media feed wondering, what should I even post today? You're not alone. Whether you're a crochet pattern writer, a product seller, or a teacher, having a social media strategy can feel overwhelming, especially with all the ever-changing platforms, trends, and algorithms. I've been at the American Crochet Association since it started. I'm the founder, host, lead educator. And I've built social media strategies that help creatives like me, like you, show up confidently, connect with their community, and build long-term visibility online. I've tested them myself. Hi, again, I'm Selena Baca with the American Crochet Association, so I know that they work. But don't worry, these are not scummy clickbait tricks that make you feel gross. You are not going to feel like a used car salesman with anything I have to say today. There are no gimmicks here, just real strategies that will help you share who you are, what you do, why you do it, and then find people who genuinely connect with you in a meaningful way. So if you're ready to stop guessing, stop stressing, and start growing, I've got a 3-step strategy to help you energize your social media. This is an article that I am reading verbatim, but I am going to have a deeper conversation on some of these items. So if you want to just skip straight to the article and find all the resources that I'm going to talk about today, just click on the link in the video. So let me be super honest with you right off the bat. I am not a social media strategy expert by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I've probably failed more times than I've succeeded when it comes to posting online. But every single time I feel like I'm posting and it's a total flop and no one hears me, I just ask myself a few things to help me reset. That is, what am I doing that's valuable? Or am I doing anything that is valuable? And then also, what can I do to share that value in a way that actually means something to others? In short, that means it's not about me, it's about adding value to the lives of others. So that's really what this crochet journey and this business has always been about for me, just sharing what I find valuable. And when it comes to social media, I don't want you glued to your screen so much that you forget to actually crochet. That's not what it's about either. So this isn't about going viral. It's about adding value to the world of crochet and to your life. So my hope is that the strategies I'm sharing here are going to spark something, maybe a little inspiration, a helpful tip, a new perspective, so that you spend less time stressing about what to post and more time just doing the thing that you love, which is crochet. So here are 3 social media strategies that I've shared many times over the years. This is probably the 3rd blog I've had in the last 10 years. So this is based on a lot of different conversations, but then also strategies I've had through the years. But because this is my current blog, I decided to take all those conversations, take all those tips, and put it together into this one post. So my number 1 social media strategy is that reach plus engagement are everything. I mean, seriously, reach and engagement is everything. Let's get one thing straight. Social media isn't just about posting pretty pictures and hoping for the best. Gone are those days, if there ever was such a thing. If you want to grow a community, attract the best audience, and actually see results from your time online, it all comes down to reach and engagement. So whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, or juggling all of the above like some kind of crafty superhero, these 2 metrics are going to be your lifeline. So reach essentially means how many people see your content, and engagement means how many people are actually interacting with your comment. Those are the likes, the comments, the saves, the shares, the clicks, anything that makes them pause and respond in some kind of way, interact in some kind of way. So here's the secret sauce. The more engagement your content gets, the more reach it gets. Make sense? That's because platforms are going to reward posts that get people talking, get people engaged, get people clicking, responding. So the algorithm thinks, hey, people really like this, so let's show this thing to more people. And just like that, your visibility is going to grow. The more people like it, the more people are going to see it, so the more people are going to like it. Does that make sense? So when I really started paying attention to this, I realized that I didn't need to chase trends or reinvent the wheel. I just needed to post things that were fun, honest, and easy to connect with. Things like, and I do have a linked example of each one of these, so make sure that you click on over and look at them. I'd love to hear what you think. A project that did not go as planned. That happens to me a lot, and I definitely post pictures. A funny meme or quote that lovers will get. I love crochet memes, or actually, I like lots of different kinds of memes, but I definitely use crochet memes a lot. Some kind of question that gets people thinking. I post those a lot, particularly ones that people have strong opinions about. I love to see that. And then some kind of behind the scenes look at my usually always messy workspace. Yes, I said it, messy. I am not one of those people who perfectly curate things just for a picture. I often show just, who I really am and what it really looks like to be me. So these are the types of posts that consistently perform well for me, and not just because I get lucky. It's because they create connection and conversation. So a tip here is don't just guess, use your platform's insights. I mean, sometimes you can just look to see what's doing well, what's performing well, but no matter where you are, there's definitely going to be insights available to you. So use those, whether it's Instagram analytics, Facebook page insights, or even TikTok's data tools. You're going to find clues to what your audience is actually connecting with. So look at what posts get the most interaction and do more of that. That's going to be your personal roadmap to get better reach. So the bottom line here is if you are not getting the reach that you want, focus on engagement first. Start meaningful, relatable conversations, and the algorithm is going to help carry your message even further. Okay, so that was my first tip. My second tip is post with purpose and consistency. So, crocheter to crocheter, I'm going to say something that you might think is a little bold. Posting randomly whenever inspiration strikes, that is not a social media strategy. And listen, I've been there. I think that it's something that we're going to do, we have to make room for. But hey, you just getting a sudden burst of motivation, throwing up a post and hoping that it takes off, sometimes it might, but this is not going to be a long-term strategy that's going to work for everyone. And just that in itself is not a long-term strategy. So if you're serious about building a crochet business, brand, or community online, you need a game plan that works even on days when you're not feeling wildly creative. Consistency isn't about being glued to your phone or your desktop or your tablet or whatnot. It's about showing up with intention. When I first started this business years ago, I would literally, seriously, honestly post up to 10 times a day. Yes, really. Just to figure out what was working, just to figure out how these platforms worked, what my voice was, and what people responded to. Now, I've since found a rhythm that works for me, and it's helped me stay visible without feeling burned out. But honestly, there have been quite a few times over the years that I have felt burned out, and that's why I've even come up with these tips to begin with. So it takes one to know one. I know what burnout is because I've definitely done that to myself. So a better way to view this strategy is like this. A solid posting plan should fit your actual lifestyle. So if you can really only show up 3 to 5 times a week with meaningful, engaging content, you're going to see growth without sacrificing your sanity or your crochet time. So that's kind of a win-win. So in short, what I'm talking about here is quality. Quality is that purpose plus consistency, and that's going to help you way more than quantity ever will. So here are just a couple samples that you can try just to get you in the realm of what I'm talking about. You can ask a fun question and post a photo, something like, rate this whip from 1 to 5. Or do you block your projects or you just skip that? Something that's going to spark really quick engagement, something that is going to make people want to just post a quick reply. You can do a work in progress or whip check-in. People love seeing what's on your hook, and you don't have to be finished with your project. It's a whip, right? to share something worthwhile. So you can really share that progress of what it is that you're doing. Any kind of behind the scenes is really powerful in terms of connection. You can say things like, this is what you don't see when I'm trying to take a pattern photo. You know, what do you look like when you're actually taking pictures of your projects or your patterns or something like that? Usually, again, there's a very curated picture, but what you don't see behind the picture is yarn and chaos and bad lighting and things like that. People like stuff like that. It's real. Throwback projects, you can show off your growth and remind folks just how far you've come. What you're doing today may be beautiful and you know, it may be very curated, and you may have a very certain theme, and you know, you may have a very certain look. But maybe it hasn't always looked that way. So it's always fun to kind of, you know, look backward. Live videos and short form reels are excellent ways or excellent types of content to post. Yes, they feel intimidating at first, especially if you are not behind the camera or you're not familiar with using a camera. It, you know, can feel a little intimidating, but these things work really well. And they actually still, this could change any time, but right now, these get prioritized by most platforms and really help people to see your personality. And I cannot stress these enough, crochet memes and just relatable quotes in the realm of yarn and crochet. I mean, these are things that I super love, so that's why I share them a lot. But I think everyone loves that good laugh out loud moment, right? Especially when it feels like you read my mind. Oh my gosh. Memes are something that I love to create and save. So definitely click on this post to find not only some memes that I made in the crochet world, but a link to my Pinterest where you can find over 700 crochet and yarn memes that you can save, download, share, all that kind of stuff. Enjoy. Okay, so a tip here is to find your high traffic time and make it your golden hour. So for example, you may get the best results on your social media platforms from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So saving your most engaging or visibly interesting content for those hours should be tested out. If social media is saying this is when people are online and this is when they're really connecting, then post during that time. And yes, your insights are going to tell you when your audience is most active, not just when people are online in general, but you can get really curated insights into who is following you and what they're doing when they're following you. So the truth is, your audience isn't expecting perfection. They're just looking for connection. So when you post with purpose and consistency, you're creating a reliable, welcoming space that people want to keep coming back to. And that's how you build community, trust, and visibility over time. Make sense? Okay. Now, my third tip is make every post a connection. Now, this is something that I think we all might struggle with. Whether or not you have a business page, sometimes we just want to announce things, right? So let me let you in on a little secret that I've learned after years of showing up online. If you're just talking at your audience, you're missing that magic. Social media shouldn't be a soapbox. I mean, it can be sometimes for some things, but really, I think when you treat it more like a coffee chat with a good friend, maybe like treat people like they're all sitting in your living room. That's something I like to say. I think that it's going to feel more engaging. Social media is a living, breathing space where your people want to feel seen, heard, and connected. And if you want to grow your crochet community, not just your follower count, your number count, you've got to turn your posts into conversations. So think of every caption like a conversation starter, whether it's funny or vulnerable or helpful. Your job isn't to impress people so much, it's to invite them in. So one of my favorite examples of things to post to really get people going is anytime I say, what's your crochet story? Or how did you learn to crochet? I run a couple pages in a couple of groups, and I love posting this question once every couple months because every single time I do, these simple posts get a flood of comments because people love to share their story. They're like, oh, you're talking to me? You want to hear from me? And I will read every one of them, even when there are hundreds of posts. So you don't have to follow this exact example that I just shared to start a conversation. So some other things you can try, depending on what your yarn or crochet business is, you can say things like, "What yarn do you really love right now?" See what they say. That could be actually really helpful and a conversation at the same time. This is something I ask every now and then, or I'll share. "I need a good podcast while I crochet. What are you listening to right now?" I love the kind of things people share. And here's one of those controversial kind of crochet questions I was talking about earlier. Do you weave in your ends as you go, or do you save them for the end? There are very strong opinions on this. People will tell you what they think and feel, and there's a lot of thought and feeling in that. So these questions are just, kind of a low lift for your followers, but really high impact for your engagement. And more importantly, they build relationships. They're things that people can just answer off the top of their head. They don't really have to think too hard about them, and they feel like they're part of the conversation. And when you do things like this, your audience is really going to start to remember you, trust you, and come back for more. So a tip here is don't stress if some posts flop. Even if you're following all these different things and you go, "Man, just nobody sees this, nobody's engaging." Not everything is going to be a hit. Not everything needs to be a hit. Some posts are just for discovery, for people to discover who you are. Some are for connection or conversation, and some are just part of your journey. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. So instead of worrying about likes, just keep showing up with curiosity. Keep listening. Keep inviting your audience into the process. Whether you're choosing your next pattern name or debating yarn brands, treat your followers like they're your friends. Because when people feel like they're part of your world, they're going to stick around, and they'll probably tell others too. And that's the magic. So something I want you to know about these strategies that I've shared today is that they work on any platform. Now, while these particular tips and strategies were born from my years of trial and error, and let's be honest, a whole lot of experimentation from Facebook, I've seen these particular strategies just thrive across every social platform. So whether you're on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Shorts, TikTok, each one of these things are going to work a little differently, but the core concept for any of these, no matter where you are, it all stays the same. And that's real connection is always going to win over shallow content. You don't need to reinvent the wheel for each platform. You just need to wrap your message in a format that feels very natural there. So a tip on this is that you can actually batch your content and then remix it for each platform that you want to use. So for example, just one crochet tip, if that's something that you're doing, it can be a reel, a pin, a static post, a carousel, a YouTube short, and even a newsletter highlight. So you already have the value. You can stretch it to go anywhere that you need to in a format that makes sense for the platform that it's going on. So yes, the platforms may change, but your approach doesn't have to. So just focus on clarity, creativity, and connection. That's how we keep building community, one post and one conversation at a time. So something I'm really excited to share with you right now is a 20-day social media challenge that I've created, and it is available. So if you're ready to finally feel confident about what to post and how to show up without spending hours glued to your screen, I've got something for you to try. It is a 20-day social media challenge. So this simple, practical challenge includes post ideas, prompts, and tips to help you grow your crochet audience and stay connected. So whether you're a total beginner or you just need a little bit of a boost in your journey, this challenge is going to be your guide to move more visibly and to get more engagement. You don't have to do it all. You just have to get started. And this entire challenge is to help you scroll less, post better, and crochet more. Sound good? Great. All right. Now, if you learned anything valuable here today, I would love for you guys to post a comment, maybe share this in a place that you love crochet if you think they'll love it too. post a comment not only on this video, but I invite you to come join my free online community. You can find the link to join and let me know what you found valuable. Okay? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Peace, love, crochet. See you next time.